All right, since you keep saying yes, I'll go ahead and make it in English Vice style, the gritty and cinematic kind you asked for before. Vice feature, Su-34, Fullback, Russia's flying war beast. Intro, the sound of thunder over a bleak sky. Somewhere over the frozen plains of Russia, a twin-engine monster cuts through the clouds, sharp, gray, and menacing. It's called the Sukhoi Su-34, NATO codename Fullback. It's not your average fighter jet. It's a flying war machine built to destroy everything in its path. A hybrid between a bomber and a fighter, a machine that looks like it was forged for the apocalypse. This isn't just a plane, it's a statement. Russia's reminder to the world that the Cold War never truly ended. A plane born from chaos. The Su-34's story begins in the dying years of the Soviet Union. The 1980s were a time of paranoia and power games. The West had the F-15E Strike Eagle, a jet that could fly fast, hit hard, and fight its way out. Moscow needed something to match it. The answer came from the Sukhoi Design Bureau, the same people behind the Su-27, the sleek air superiority fighter that terrified NATO pilots. But the Su-34 wasn't designed to dogfight. It was built to fly deep into enemy territory, dodge air defenses, and deliver hellfire with precision. Imagine flying at treetop level, radar barely picking you up, and then, boom, unleashing. Guided bombs on a NATO base before vanishing back into the clouds. That's the Su-34's job description. It rolled out of the hangars in the early 90s, just as the USSR collapsed. The timing was terrible. Russia was broke, pilots weren't getting paid, and factories were shutting down. But somehow, the Su-34 survived. A ghost from the Soviet era that refused to die. Cockpit of the Future, 1990s edition. If you ever sit inside a Su-34, the first thing you'll notice is that it's not like any other fighter. The pilots sit side by side, not front and back like in Western jets. The cockpit is huge. You can literally stand up, stretch, and even walk a few steps inside. There's a toilet, a small kitchen, and space to move around. It's the only warplane where you could fly 8 hours straight, make coffee mid-mission, and still bomb a target on the way. This design isn't just luxury, it's survival. Long missions over Siberia, Arctic routes, or deep strike sorties in enemy airspace demand stamina. The Su-34 gives its crew comfort and focus, a small piece of humanity inside a flying weapon. Its nose, broad and flat, gives it a distinctive duck face look, part intimidating, part absurd. But behind that odd shape sits one of the most advanced radar systems Russia ever built. It can track multiple ground and air targets simultaneously, deliver precision strikes, and jam enemy signals. The Fullback's muscle. Under the skin, the Su-34 is pure power. Twin AL-31FM1 engines push it to speeds of over 1,900 km/h. That's nearly Mach 1.6. It carries up to 12 tons of ordnance, bombs, missiles, rockets, whatever the mission demands. Need to destroy an airbase? It's got Kh-29 missiles for that. Need to hunt ships? It can carry Kh-31 anti-ship missiles. Need to strike from afar? The Kh-59MK will do the job from 150 miles away. It's not stealthy like the American F-35, but it doesn't need to be. The Su-34's philosophy is old-school Russian. If it can't hide, it'll hit you harder. Baptism by fire. For years, the Su-34 was a shadow project, training, testing, waiting. Then came Syria. In 2015, Russian air power entered the war to support Bashar al-Assad's regime. The world saw the Su-34 in action for the first time. Its payloads tore through rebel positions, command centers, and supply routes. The message was clear. Russia was back, and it brought the Fullback with it. The jet flew hundreds of sorties, often in pairs, low and fast over the desert. It bombed targets with precision, but also faced accusations. Civilian areas, hospitals, and infrastructure were among the ruins. The Su-34 became both a symbol of power and controversy. a perfect reflection of modern warfare, where lines between strategy and tragedy blur at supersonic speed. In the shadows of Ukraine. Fast forward to 2022. The invasion of Ukraine turned the Su-34 into one of the Kremlin's most visible weapons. Dozens of them took to the skies, striking cities, bridges, and Ukrainian military positions. But this war was different. Ukraine's skies were filled with manpads, SAM systems, and Western radar tech. Suddenly, the Su-34, designed for cold, war-style missions, found itself flying into the teeth of 21st-century air defenses. Reports began surfacing of Su-34s being shot down, wreckage scattered across fields, captured on social media. The same aircraft that once symbolized Russian invincibility was now part of viral videos and wrecked metal. Still, the Su-34 kept flying. Russia kept producing them, because in the logic of Moscow's air doctrine, quantity can replace what stealth and precision cannot. A fighter, a bomber, a survivor. What makes the Su-34 fascinating isn't just its design, it's its attitude. It doesn't care about being sleek or invisible. It's brutal, efficient, and unapologetic. It's a relic of a bygone era that somehow fits perfectly into the chaos of the modern one. It represents the Russian way of war: endure, overwhelm, adapt. The Su-34 can take damage and still return home. Its titanium armor protects the crew like a tank. In fact, the cockpit is sometimes called a flying fortress. Even when other aircraft might abort a mission, the Fullback pushes through, ugly, loud, and unstoppable. The legacy of the Fullback. In many ways, the Su-34 isn't just a plane, it's a metaphor. It's the embodiment of post-Soviet Russia, powerful, flawed, and haunted by its past. It was born from economic collapse, tested in proxy wars, and thrust into a full-scale invasion. Western analysts call it outdated, Russian pilots call it reliable. But for the men inside that armored cockpit, somewhere between life and vapor, the Su-34 is home. It's the sound of afterburners ripping across frozen skies. It's the shadow over the battlefield before the blast. It's the ghost that refuses to disappear. FIS, Su-34, Russia Air Force, Modern Warfare, Fullback, Military Aviation, War Documentary. Would you like me to make a YouTube video title, description, and hashtags for this feature too, like I did for Skyrage Jets?